Good afternoon. I hope you've all had fun practicing with your watercolor. Remember, the basic supplies are water, brushes, paper, and color. It can be tubes or pans, half pans. Remember, if you have a tube, you can squeeze it all the way out into your palette, let it dry, and go back later with a spray bottle or wet it with your brush. Here's a reminder of what the green chart looked like. I hope you're all having fun with your green chart. I really enjoyed this one. I've been doing it for years. I have some really large ones. One day I'll take some pictures and put them up on YouTube. Use one of your greens and mix it with every color you have. Really like the way that one turned out. Okay, as promised, I have this wet into wet watercolor, and I mentioned I would show you how to duplicate this today. It was pretty simple, really. There's a couple little tricks with wet into wet that you need to know. You can go back in wet into wet again later. It won't be quite the same, and you can also use a drier brush later on to get these effects. And then the magic at the end I'll explain when we're almost done. Okay, hopefully I don't knock anything over. The first thing you want to do is make sure you have nice clean water. I've taped my paper down because I can't really see what I'm doing. I'm going to get the paper wet with a nice big brush, and then I'm going to let it just soak in for a second. While it's soaking in, I'm going to mix a couple of my favorite colors on my mixing palette, which you can't see, but that's all right. You've got your own mixing palette to worry about. Today I'm going to use Payne's Gray and Phthalo Green. Might use a little bit of purple, so I'll have that ready on my palette as well. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Okay, I still see quite a bit of water there. I'm going to lift up the paper. Once the sheen kind of goes away is the best time to work. I'm going to work a little faster today because I am wanting to get this done in a reasonable amount of time, not take up too much of your time today. I'm going to use a different brush now. I'm just going to work kind of in stripes, or you can go back and forth. I can't do it because the way my phone is set up to record the video. I think you can all track with me. You can add a little more water if that's too dark for you. I'm going to add a little more water on my brush and just keep pulling the color. If it gets too dry, I can add more here. It's really funny, when I do skies, I often end up turning my paper around. What I thought was going to be the top is then the bottom. What I thought was going to be the bottom is then the top. And it just seems to work out for some reason. Hi, Zaya. How are you today?
Good.
Good. You're my little guest artist sometimes, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, I'm going to mix my phthalo green with a little bit of deep purple. And as soon as the sheen goes away a little bit more, I'm going to start laying in some strokes, like a tree or an underwater plant. One of the best parts is when it spreads a little bit. See how it's spreading? I have a friend in upstate New York who likes to collect my tree paintings. She has probably, 20 maybe different original paintings. Not yet. Okay, I like to add a little bit of ground. I don't know if you can see that on the video. I'll go up a little higher. I can't really see exactly what you're seeing. So I'm going to let that dry for just a second while I'm still mixing some colors. While it's nice and wet, you can get a couple little shadows in. Again, I can't really see what I'm doing because I have my camera and my easel in the way. I'm going to dry on a paper towel for just 1 second and let it dry. So my next step is letting it dry. Then I can go back in with another layer, maybe a fine, let me show you what it looks like. It's over here somewhere. I can use one of these two fan brushes and just make some real fine lines, or I can go in with this brush and use the tiny, tiny tip to get some fine lines and some nice effects in there. So you just use the tiny little tip. I see we've got some little hairs coming out. It's okay to pull them out, but don't ever trim your brush. It upsets the balance of the brush. Another thing you might want to try a little later on, we could maybe do this step tomorrow. If you have a simple baggie or some saran wrap at home, what you do, this part's kind of scary, but I've done it a few times and I really like the effects. I lay it out and I put a little bit of black sumi ink on it, and I just turn it upside down with the black sumi ink on the painting and get a nice deep dark. It seems to work out kind of well. Depends on how adventurous you're feeling. Have a great day, and I will look forward to seeing your painting soon. Remember, if you have any questions, you can post them on Facebook and I'll see them there. Thanks. Have a great day. Be well.